imagine for a moment that we have all this data that we have online, or we have internet, but we don't have a way to search it. We don't have our Google. If that were the case, then pretty much it would be useless information. There's no way to find all that you were looking for. Imagine if there were like just thousands of millions of billions of folders of stuff and no way to search it. It will be totally useless. But with the use of Google, it becomes something else. It becomes really cool because we can find whatever we want whenever we want. So for example, from the context of photographer or retoucher, let's try to find how to use curves in Photoshop. Maybe I don't know how and I want to find out how. Well, we can even use this search by voice option new to Google Chrome. How to use Photoshop curves. And boom, we get a bunch of options about anything we want, tutorials and anything we need. So that really is a big help. But what happens when we try to do that with our own notes? Post-it notes, things we write in all over our hard drive, stuff we have in our emails, in our chat rooms, on forums, and we try to research some of that and find it and organize it. It's a nightmare. Well, luckily there's this thing called Evernote, and it's this probably the best invention since the wheel. Now, this idea of capturing all that you want in an application in terms of note-taking application, that's been around for a while, but nothing seems to come close to being as useful, as popular as Evernote. I think they have like 70 million users already, and it's a really cool tool. And what it does, it's basically a free tool that works on every platform, and it's synchronized with their server, allows you to capture everything that you want and easily find it and access it. Here's what I mean. So the idea is that you have this application called Evernote, and then you can do things like capture images, capture audio, you can capture any kind of website, document, text, you can write your own, whatever you need. You can even use analog, you know, if you have like pieces of paper where you put down notes with your pen, you can take that as an image and bring it digitally into Evernote. So you have everything in one place. And their philosophy is pretty much this: remember everything, right? The idea is that you can capture anything, any format, anything, pretty much you put it inside. You can access it anywhere, meaning that not only do you have Evernote application on various platforms, that means, for example, you have it on your iPad, you have it on your Android phone, you have it on your iPhone, you have it on your desktop, on a Mac OS or on Windows. And there is a slight difference in terms of interface and a few functionalities, but pretty much they all remain the same or similar. So you can install the application in virtually any of those platforms, and then you can synchronize it by using their cloud service. So everything gets uploaded to their server and then synchronized to all the other devices. And it also allows you their own version of Google, ability to find things fast anywhere within thousands and thousands of nodes of everything and every kind. So for example, what you would do is you would go to Evernote and you would open up an email account, basically their free account. So it's like going to open up a Gmail account or on forums, something like that. Very easy to do. Once you open that up, you go to sign in and it takes you into their web version of Evernote, and this is the way it looks like. Now basically it looks like any standard email client. It has three sections. On the left we have folders and subfolders, or as they're called, notebooks and sub-notebooks. And then within that we have different notes shown here as snippets, and then we have the actual note. So for example, I have personal retouching notebook stack, or main folder. Then within that I have color management, which has 126 different notes, and this is one of them. And here I can see an actual note. Now I was creating something on color management, a bunch of tutorials, so I needed to do a lot of research. And how do you do that? Well, you first start to go on Google and search for something relating color management and things that you want. Once you find them, what do? Well, you can bookmark those web pages, but that usually gets lost and it's not as flexible. And sometimes finding those bookmarks can be a problem. So what I did instead is I start putting everything in Evernote, and it works beautifully well. Because if you really take a look, this note here in Evernote looks very much like a web page. Isn't that true? In fact, Let me open up another one and you'll see that it's almost the same. Now what's up with that? Well, this is actual web page captured and prepared and saved in Evernote. And when I do that, I also get this link where it was originally captured from. So if I click on that, it will take me to that original web page. And here it is. This is X-Rite Photo Blog, and this is their article on something regarding color management's New Year resolution 2011. Okay, it's older, but it was there something interesting here that I wanted to preserve. So how do you do that? You can copy paste it, but if you do that, look what you have to select: a bunch of things, stuff you may not want. Luckily, Evernote has a very good solution. If you go to their web page under products, there's this thing called Evernote Web Clipper and Evernote Clearly. Let me show you how that works. So here's what you can do. When you install those two things, it installs it for your particular, let me click on one of them, for your particular browser. In this case it's for Chrome, but it can be for Safari, Firefox, anything else. So install that and Clearly, and you get these two icons, this little elephant and a reading lamp. Now here's what they do. If I click on the reading lamp, watch what happens to the page. It strips it, it restyles it with CSS, it strips it away from everything that you don't need and shows you only images and text, nicely, beautifully formatted. And now if I were to actually clip this by clicking on this button, it would save it like you see it here inside of Evernote. Now the reason why you see this different background is because there's different themes you can choose here for reading, and even your custom one. But what I really found interesting about this is that it serves two purposes. One is sometimes you want to read this in peace, no extra stuff. So you would click on this and it will prepare it for reading. But once you're satisfied, you can click capture or clip to Evernote, and it's going to be clipped looking like this wherever you want it inside of your notebooks. So this is how I, as you can see here, have searched and captured a bunch of web pages so I can easily find something I was looking for on a particular topic. Okay, let's find this one, for example. So everything is captured in this way, and of course all of them also have this web link, so if I click on it I can easily access the original web page where I clipped it from. Now I don't usually typically use this web interface because it's a little bit unresponsive in terms of if you have a lot of notes and everything, it has to reread everything all the time. So instead what I like to do is I like to just download this. If I go to products in Evernote, I can download for Mac OS, Windows, or whatever I need a desktop version of the program. And if you are on different mobile devices such as iPad, iPhone, iPad Touch, Android, Windows Phone, BlackBerry, and so on, you can also install it on those platforms. Now like I said, they look a little bit different in terms of interface and functionality, but originally they're the same, and they all get synchronized to their cloud service. Now remember, this is the version for web, and it looks the way it looks. This is a desktop version and looks pretty much the same. Has the notebook section, like folders, then we have within folders we have a different note, like a snippet, and then we have the actual note. Now let's say that I want to easily find, because I have a lot of notes, almost 2,000 here, I want to find this one. Now what's the name of this? Photoshop Color Management. Okay, let me go into my Evernote and let's go search. This is like a Google search option, okay? Photoshop Color Management, and let's see. This one was Photoshop Color Management, right? Oops. And here it is. I found it very easily just by searching it. So just like you would if you were to search anything using Google. It's really powerful tool for searching, because once I start searching that, let me delete a few of these. And if I start to search, okay, without this, it will put them in suggestions, recent searches, and in different hierarchical order. And on top of that, I can save a search. Now you might save a search like let's say basically like a preset, and then you can something that you recently search and you want to search over and over again, you can easily find it through that. So that works as well. And of course, if I wanted to go back, I can easily search through this tool. And also it will just list me all the similar type with the same name notebooks among my 2000. So it's really easy to find whatever you're looking for. And also I can Control F, search within the actual note itself. And let's say I'm searching color, it will, you know, next and previous options, but it also will highlight everything that I need. So it's very easy to find stuff either by searching, either by folder order, or you can also find it using tags. And tags are just like keywords in Lightroom or Bridge. I have here color management tag, but let's say I go to my tags here, and you can see different tags. Now I wasn't very diligent with them, but as you can see I have different tags for different things. Now let's say I want to find something on, I don't know, maybe habits or fashion. Let's say I want to find something on fashion. If I double click on it, it will show me all the different things, you know, for fashion that I was interested in at one point in time. So in this way you can really find anything that you're looking for, or you can just, like I said, go to any of these different folders and find it that way, depending on what it is that you're looking for. Or you can use all three to find your way around. So one will be using folders, one will be using tags, and the other one would be using search option, or all three depending on what you're doing. I can also select a bunch of these and then add my own tags here, like color management and then something else, and add multiple tags so I can really narrow my search. I can move them wherever I want. I can email this, merge, save the attachment. So there are many ways in which you can organize your notes. Now you can also delete note, copy note, move note, tag, share. That's a pretty cool option. I'll show you that. Excuse me. Print, export, open. By the way, if you open it, it opens in its own new window, which is good for reading without the clutter, and it's also like you can have multiple windows open with different notes like that. So what else you can do is share it. So not only can I share this entire folder of stuff, if I click on it I can share notebook with somebody else who's using Evernote. I can export and all that, but individual notes you can actually go to share and share to Facebook, Twitter, and all this, but also you can email this. So I can, let's say, email this to somebody with subject what I want. I can email this to myself as a copy as well, and write whatever I want with this particular note. So it's really handy in that way. Now what else you can do here is when you're creating a new note, you can create a new note just like any blank note, new ink note, which is basically when you're using your pen and tablet or something to draw, so it's like a empty piece of paper, so no text, you just draw on it. There's the audio note and webcam note. So maybe I want to add, let's say, an audio to this. Sorry, wrong formatting. Maybe here I want to add additional note. Maybe I can click on this and it will let me record some kind of an audio for it. Let's try something. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, save, cancel, and it gets saved here. And now I can play this if I wanted to. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. So by using that, I can save stuff that I want. Now by the way, if you didn't hear anything, that's probably because I have not included to record my system audio, just my microphone, so maybe you didn't hear it in the background, but it worked. Also you can attach stuff. So for example, I can attach here, let me see if I have one attachment or another here, maybe someplace, but you can attach, oh here it is. So you can actually attach here, this is from color management from Martin Evening, I believe. And there's also a book here that you can download for free, like a section from his book about color management. If I double click on that, it will open up inside of whatever your PDF viewer was. Now you can also use it here as an attachment, or you can change the option inside of Evernote to see actual PDF within the Evernote itself. So you can add all kinds of documents, anything you want, and of course it should probably have a link to its page here. So if I wanted to visit and read more, you can also add links here, such as this one, download free PDF. So as you can see, it has a lot of potential to do all kinds of stuff and options. Now another thing that I want to mention, very important, is how much usage. Okay, so if you open up a free account, you get 60 megabytes of space on their server every 30 days. So as you can see here, monthly upload allowance used. Right now I have uploaded 11 megabytes, that's of 60 megabytes, so that's about 19%, and I have 27 days left in the cycle. Then when 27 days is passed in this case, then what will happen is they will allow me to upload another 60 megabytes. So they leave your 60 megabytes alone and they give you another 60, and that rotates every 30 days. If you buy a premium here, then you would get, I think, gigabyte or something like that. So that's the thing you can do. I think that notes themselves are in free version, I think it's up to 25 megabytes per note. So if you're using text, you can never really fill that, and if you're using images, you can, but you know, you use smaller images like you see here. So what else I can do here is, if you don't see this, go to Tools and Account Info. Now of course you can format this in any ways. By the way, if you have here's something else I want to show you. Let me open up my email account, and here I have one email from PayPal. I have paid for my Skype, so now I can call people on landlines. Skype credit, right? It was like 10 euros or something. So this is something that could be any invoice. Now in this case it's this invoice, but it could be any invoice. It could be something really important, or it could be any kind of email. Maybe you're talking to a client and you have the entire conversation. Well, you can actually email yourself stuff into Evernote. Let me show you. First I'll go back into Evernote here to show you something. I'm going to go to Evernote here, and here's what I can do. I can click here. Sorry. First let me show you something. If you go to Tools and Account Info, there's an option here called Email Notes To, and then there's your email. Now your email is something you automatically get when you open up an account with Evernote, and the importance of this email is really cool, because here's what you can do. I can go to my email client, and I can actually email myself this. So let's say I want to collect important invoices, conversation, and things to my Evernote, which is a good place to kind of have everything. So I can do is I can click forward, and I can forward this to my Evernote. And I'm just gonna use my Evernote email here, which is in my address box, you know, so it's easy to find. And I'm gonna delete this forward because I don't need it, and I'm gonna delete this because I don't need that. And now this red stuff that you see here, that's only a preview. That's not gonna be there. So here's what I want to do. I want to basically email this thing to myself, and this will be the name of the email, therefore the name of the note once I email it. But also you can do something interesting here. You can add this sign like you would for an email, and then copy the name of the note on this notebook. In this case it was this is the one I want to copy it to. If you didn't have that, if you just email it regularly, then it would put it into your default notebook, and every time you open up an email Evernote, you have only one default notebook. Mine is this one. Now sometimes you don't want to mail yourself here and then manually have to drag and drop it here. Like, that's 2 steps. Maybe you can do it in 1 step. And the way you do it is by entering in your subject line here, using this sign, and then after that you write the notebook you want to mail it to. So you see what I did there? And then I'm gonna just email this to myself, and you'll see what happens. Now once it's emailed, it's gonna be put into my Evernote, that particular notebook. Now it didn't happen right away because first it gets synchronized with the Evernote web version, and then I have to click sync here. Once I do that, it's gonna download it, and it's gonna, or should be, put it here. There we go. And this is it. Now I got in my Evernote, I got that particular invoice. I can of course edit this if I want to. I can add anything I want. Now let's say you have a bunch of invoices from a particular client, or you have receipts you want for taxes. You can collect all of that here. Now the great news about this as well is that you can also collect not just digital receipts, but also, you know, just piece of paper. If you have, let's say, a smartphone, you install an Evernote app on it, let's say an iPhone, and you use the camera that goes with that Evernote, and it will, you know, take a picture of that receipt, and it will send it into Evernote wherever you want it. So that way you can collect these analog pieces of paper and digital receipts and put it all in one place in Evernote. And maybe they're all linked to one particular project or a job, so you have everything in one place. Now let's say another thing that you can do when you're using this is, let's say that you are a photographer or retoucher, but let's say you're a retoucher. Sometimes, I mean all the time, you're going to be working with clients of some kind, right? Well, that's great, because when you're working with clients, you know, you have business. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought here. I wanted to say something and then I lost it. Oh yeah, right. So what I wanted to say is that when you're dealing with clients, here's what you want to do. If you are dealing with more difficult projects, or even if you're not, a good idea is to keep notes of everything, so you don't have to remember stuff. You know, maybe there are some pretty important things for the project, or less important details that could be important for the relationship with the client, and things like that. So let's say that a client contacts you, and this time they first contact you over Facebook. Well, you can start a new note. Just create here a new notebook by clicking here somewhere, create new notebook. I created my Evernote, and then here I just went to new note, and I created this one, client Mario Puzo. I mean, this is made up client, but the point is you can put any client. And I put name, location, phone, and all that, so I know what it is. Now here I can do some personal notes, whatever, but let's say he contacts me over Facebook, and he wants, you know, he starts a conversation, what's your rates and all that. Well, that's fine. So what do I do? Well, I can right here paste Facebook chat here. And also I can add this little checkbox here, which is pretty cool if you click on this, because I can now almost make it look like a to-do list. And now I have actual checkbox, which is like a pretty cool to-do list. But let's say that we start a chat on Facebook, and what I can do is I can copy paste all that text and put it in here, just in this note where this client is. Now of course I can create, then next day he doesn't chat with me on Facebook. This time he opens up an email and he sends me an email, and we start a, you know, back and forth on email. That's fine. You can paste an email conversation here, or you can email it here just the way I showed you. Then maybe after that there's a phone conversation. So write down notes from phone conversation. And as you can see, maybe also they send you, or he sends you, some personal notes, like a brief, you know, something like a PDF document maybe, or he sends you something, I don't know, like maybe he just sends you an image with different, you know, marks on the image. Clean this, remove that, whatever the case. Paste that here. So when you sorry, reference image, or paste image notes here. No. Notes here. Good thing they have spell checking. So paste image notes here. So you can use all of that and paste here everything, right? And all of a sudden, for this particular project, you have everything you need. And then maybe they'll send you a reference, you know, a certain website. And here I have something very interesting. This was from Fashion Gone Rogue. So let me go there. This is a website, Fashion Gone Rogue. Now let's say they tell you, hey, I want you to make my image look like this. Now maybe you can do that, and you can save yourself this link. So I'll just paste this here, because that's the reference they want me, and now I can access that. But let's say while we're talking on the phone, he says, you know what, I don't like this, all of these images, this black and white stuff. I just want this red thing, and I don't like this one, it's too dark. Well, then I would capture this web page. So click on my clearly note. I will prepare the actual page, and then I will click on clip to Evernote. Once that is clipped to Evernote, it will look something like this. Now once I'm here, now I can actually change stuff, right? I don't need everything. Maybe I don't need this. So maybe I can, you know, change this. Okay, this one is good. Maybe I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this one, and I don't need this one. So by doing so, as you can see, I have only left a few of the images. So now I have the version of thing. Hey, by the way, he told me he doesn't like this one because it's not consistent enough. So I can delete that too. So now I have only the images that he really likes here as a note. And I have maybe an invoice that I got from him or whatever. Well, I have now 3 things here, and they're all really cool, all the information about this client and about this project. Well, this is now a new project, so what do I do with this? Well, I can't stay here, so what I'll do is I'll create add to stack, new stack. So maybe we can call this clients, and this one, let's call this Mario Puzo. Let's say that's the name of the client. And call this Red Shore project. Okay, now here's what I want to do. I want to also tag this, so I'm going to select all of these 3 nodes that I created. I'm going to click here and I'm going to add client, another tag, his name, so I can later find all of his references easily, and another tag, let's call this one Red Shore project. And now what we have is this really cool project for this particular client that contains the references which we captured. We pasted here Facebook chat, all of this stuff that we really wanted, and of course maybe there are some additional notes like personal notes about the client. We don't like him, red flags, something we don't like about him, whatever the case. Now I like to divide this by using this divider line here. So if I have something else to say, maybe here I would put, you know, some text of him. And as you can see, you can really put together a lot of stuff about this particular client. Now let's say there's this tomorrow not another client. Well, let's call this one. No, I'll just right click on client, create notebook in clients. Let's call this I don't know, John Smith project testing, and I can put some new notes here, but this time I don't want to copy everything, so I'll say I'll just use this one, copy note, and actually I can copy this entire note, right? So I'm going to put it in notebook, and I'm going to send it basically to clients, John Smith, and copy. So now in John Smith we have a copy of that, but this time we can just use this as a template almost, right? So we can just rename this, whatever the case might be. You know, maybe his name is not the same, maybe he is from LA, different phone, and so on and so forth, and I would do something similar. And maybe tomorrow, or guess what, Mario Puzo maybe has another project. Well, that's fine. I'll create a notebook in clients and project testing, right? And then we can put a new note here as well, and then I would have clients and different projects from the same clients, and so on and so forth. So this way I can really easily find what I'm looking for, where I'm looking for. So everything is in one place, and then later, if you know, a year later you have another conversation or contact with the same client, it's much easier to do that. Just go to your Evernote and find out everything you've done or didn't do, or all the stuff, all the little things you have noticed and written down, and then later you forgot. You can reference that here. You know, maybe he's not available at certain maybe he's a certain religion and not available at certain times of the you know, maybe he doesn't work on Sunday or something, and then you can put that as a note here so you don't contact him on Sunday, or you know, all kinds of things. Or maybe he's in a different time zone, so what's the time he's awake or not, things of that nature. But also, what if you're a photographer and you're planning a shoot, you're planning a photography shoot? Well, Evernote is great for that as well. So let me create another notebook here. My project photography, let's say, okay? And here, for example, I'm planning a shoot. And again, I can capture websites and put images inside that I like, on something that I really like and I want to use as a reference. But also, let's say you're going scouting different locations. Well, there's also a very handy option here called Atlas, and it's basically a map, almost like a poor man's version of Google Maps, which works directly from Evernote. So let's say, let's zoom here on one of these, so you can see where you have taken the notes. Now let's say this is in San Francisco. I can zoom here pretty deep on different streets. Now let's say you're now in San Francisco and you're traveling there and you saw an interesting place where you can take some pictures and maybe go back there and with the model later or something, right? Well, you can you can use your iPhone or something, and you can use an app, Evernote, on your iPhone or your smartphone, and click and save that location. And also, not only does it save an image, it saves also the GPS data, so you can then see it from this map. Now let's say that in San Francisco you were cruising around for, you know, entire Saturday, and you found one place here, one place here, one place here, one place here, and you would put all of these notes into that folder for that project. And then using this atlas, you can kind of see, okay, maybe tomorrow we'll shoot here, or you know what, I found that I need permission for this part here, so you click on this and you can change data there. Now this image leads to another node, which is not what we're talking about, but it serves for the same purpose. So if I click on that, I will be taken to that node. and in this note there was some story about 300 billion photos this year, how many was taken. But let's say this was an image of your location, and let's say this is the text, and it was in the folder for that particular project. And you can of course add your own notes and stuff where maybe you need a permission and all that. You can add those checkboxes like a to-do list, all this kind of really cool stuff. So as you can see, it's really handy to have all that and to do that, all of that. So here's what else I'll do. I want to show you something else, that you can actually, this is pretty cool stuff with GPS. You can use Lightroom, and you can connect it with this particular application. So let me open up Lightroom for a moment, and of course I wanted to show you how you can link one with the other. Here I have an image of, this is a Caravaggio painting of, I think it's Crucifixion of Saint Peter, if I'm not mistaken. It's an altar in a church, Santa Maria del Popolo in Rome, Italy. And let's say I was there and I shot this with iPhone or whatever, and it recorded the GPS data, but I didn't put it in Evernote. It's currently inside of Lightroom. Or you already have images that you shot before you discovered Evernote, so now you want to take them and add some notes to it. Now of course Lightroom is a great tool for dealing with images, but it's not such a great tool for dealing with notes. How do you combine the two? Well, I'm going to take this image and I'm going to go to my map module, and because it has GPS coordinates here, it shows it on the map using Google Maps. And here it is. Here's the church in this Piazza del Popolo, and here's the image where it was taken. Right, so this is the image and it was taken here. Now I want to put this into Evernote and I want to add some additional notes to it. How do I do that? Well, you can't really export to Evernote from Lightroom, but you can email from Lightroom. So I'll go to File with the image selected, Email Photo, and here I'm gonna go under where I'm gonna send it. Now if you remember, if I go to my Evernote, here on usage I have my emails notes too, and that's the email I'm gonna copy. Now in Lightroom here, if you go to under address, you can add your favorite address, the people you you want to email to. So added mine, I'm going to choose that, and under subject I'm going to write something that I already written, and I'm going to just explain it to you so I don't have to write it all over again. Okay, so here's what I wrote. Let me show this from a different angle. I wrote the name of the church, Santa Maria del Popolo, Catholic Church in Rome, Italy, and then I added this sign which signifies reminder. So you can basically prepare a note when you're emailing it to Evernote, automatically add reminders, notebooks, and tags. So I want to be reminded of this. This will be the new name of the note. It will be set to remind me at this time. It will be in the notebook photography, and it will have these two tags. Okay, so let me go back to Lightroom, and once I have that set, you can also set here from, and then you can send it from your email account. You can set up here from Lightroom or your favorite email tool. I use my Mozilla Thunderbird here, so let's click send. Oh, I almost forgot. Under preset here, you can choose how you want to size it and all that. Well, go to create new preset and make sure that under metadata, all metadata is preserved. It's not just copyright only, but all metadata, and that this thing remove location info is turned off, because if you turn that on, then it will send an image and all of that, but it will remove the GPS data. We don't want that. So you can save that as a preset and select it here if you're doing this often, and I'm gonna click send. Now it will open up in my favorite mail application. So now I'm gonna delete this thing because I don't need it, and I'm gonna paste in some other text that I prepared. This thing here. And once I'm done, I'm gonna click send, and I'm gonna send this to my Evernote. Now this is gonna take maybe a few seconds depending on your internet connection and all that, but this is the way you would basically send from a Lightroom to your Evernote. So it has been sent. I'll open up Evernote and I'll click Synchronize, because it has sent it automatically to my web version of Evernote, but not this one. This one I have to sync, and nothing happened here, but that's because we told it to send it here in this other note, and indeed it has. It has. So we have the name of the note just like we wanted. We have the two tags. We have the text we set up in Thunderbird. We have our image. We have a reminder set for it, and so this will be the date. And we also have, if I click on info, we have location, because it was a GPS data inside, right? So if I click on this, it should open up inside of, view on map. It should open up inside of my favorite, well, whatever my default browser is. Now there is a bug with this. It has put in the search box here in Google Maps the longitude and latitude and all that, so it has the coordinates, but unfortunately for some reason it doesn't work. It just shows you Italy, doesn't show you the precise location. But with all this already said, all I have to do is click one more time on the search, and it will take me exactly where I wanted. Now for this to even work better, I'm just gonna click from satellite to Earth to switch to Google Earth, and I'm gonna remove labels here. I'm gonna click on this thing, and I'm gonna remove zoom here. It's gonna take me in there. I'm gonna zoom in some more, and here's the church. So here's the church. This is that Piazza del Popolo, right? So here's the church, and this is the location, approximate location of that painting. But now we can see where it is, and they even sold out the church, right? They have an advertising here. But as you can see, and this is pretty cool with technology of Google Earth, I can actually zoom in with this and see this really cool church and everything inside. So this is how you would link both Evernote and Lightroom and Google Maps and all in one. Now let me go back, and let's say I want to change a few things. I also added links to, so if I want to learn more, let's say I want to learn more about this church, I can click on this link and it will give me more information about it. Now let me change something else. Maybe I want to change this and make it like a checkbox, so you can see that I can really edit this in really cool ways. And the other painting is called Crucifixion of St. Peter, so I want to visit those two paintings. And oops, I don't want this. And I remember I wanted to go there, but it was a mess at the time, so on I couldn't go at the time. But on Saturday Mass is in 17 o'clock, so next time I go I want to make sure that I don't miss that, and I'm gonna highlight that so it's extra visible. And as you can see, this is now a new note. Now I can also do something else. I want to add the second picture, because on the altar there are two pictures there. So I think I have it here somewhere prepared. There it is. Conversion of St. Matthew on the way to Damascus, I believe. So I'm going to click on copy image, and I'm going to add it on beneath this one, like so. And here we are. We have our note ready and waiting from Lightroom. So you can see how they work together, and this is, in the context of photography and just showing you different ideas. But I just showed you a very small portion of what you can do here, and you can see it really has a lot of options and a lot of potential. So you can really set up things any way you like, any way you want, and this way you can really take full advantage of Evernote and take all these kinds of notes and use it to your advantage, because we have so much notes, we shouldn't remember all of that. And you know that the biggest lie I tell to myself is I don't need to write that down, I'll remember it. Not gonna happen. And you shouldn't remember it, you should Evernote it. And of course it also works everywhere, with different different platforms and applications, so everything is linked and synchronized. And on top of that, we also have this option to basically find things fast. As if you remember, we can find it through folder structure, we can search for it, and we can use our tags. And using this, we can really easily find everything we want. Another thing you can do here is you can add shortcuts to your favorite notes. You can just drag and drop it here, and it then becomes like a separate link. If I click on one of them, this is one I made on a particular personal project on virtuous character, but added images here, added text, and you can even add this is a table by clicking on this tool, and then you can draw a table, and of course this is all editable text. And you can even add like hyperlinks, for example. Actually, let me show you on that clients. Now let's say that personal notes about clients, he is a friend of Mario Puzo, right? So let's say that they are friends. Well, here's what I can do. I can click on Mario Puzo, the client. I can right click on it, and I can copy note link. Click on this one and then paste it over the name. So I'll just right click on it, I'll choose hyperlink, add, and I'll paste what I just copied, the link of that note, and it will become almost like a hyperlink. So now when I click on Mario Puzo, it will take me wherever in my notebook, wherever that is, client Mario Puzo. So this way I can go back and forth and link different links together, different notes together. And as you can see, it has really cool stuff. Also, let's say you have maybe a web designer and you have a password or for your website, right? And it's, I don't know, let's say this is a password, and you want to protect that additionally. Well, you can actually select and right click on it, and there's an option encrypt selected text, and now you can actually encrypt this additionally. So it really is a cool note-taking application, and once you get used to it, it's easy to use it every day. By the way, I'll go to tools and options, and here I usually set it launch Evernote at Windows logon, or maybe on Mac that would be different, but well, it basically just loads up in the background. I can easily access all my information anywhere. I synchronize it for every 15 minutes just to be safe. I can also change the note editor font of everything, so you can change like a global font of how everything is displayed here, and you can also see, allow show PDF documents as attachments, just like a little zip icon, or it allows you to see them actually within the note. You have keyboard shortcuts and reminders. Think about reminder. Let's say I want to remind it about that other project, my project, or this project, let's say. I want to be reminded of this project. Well, I can set reminder, add date, and let's say this will be on the January of 8, and I'll set that up, and as you can see, it's set as a reminder, and it will show up as a pop-up on that date here, and it will show me, hey, you need to finish this project, or you need to contact this person, or whatever the case. The only kind of problem with that I see is that it shows up as a pop-up, but it doesn't add any sound to it, so it can be easily missed, but it does seem to work. And as far as this note take, if you want to like to-do list, not like this, if you really want to like a to-do list, there are better applications out there for this, but for just like a check boxes for different things or different purposes, it's pretty cool that you can do that here inside of Evernote. All the standard rich formatting options are here as well, and as you can see, it has a lot of very simple but very powerful options. Let me see if I have something else to show you. There is a market option where you can buy stuff from their website. You can maybe check that out. Premium version of this Evernote gives you some additional stuff, like ability to like smarter searching within PDFs, and some other stuff, and it costs $45 per year or $5 a month, and it gives you like put more in, get more out. So it gives you about 1 GB of uploads each month and 100 MB maximum note size. Right now it's 25 with free version. So it gives you that. And what else we have here? We have announcements. I'm not sure why this doesn't work, but it used to work. Basically, announcements is just updates from their blog, just different cool stuff that they're posting, like different ideas. So that's the way you can work with different notes within Evernote, sorry. And using that, you can basically access anything you want, anywhere you want. You can easily find what you're looking for. No need to remember stuff. And just remember that idea not written is often idea lost. So just write stuff here and use it for personal and professional stuff. And I think that every photographer and retoucher dealing with so many people and everything, that it's just a convenient way to do that. So what I will encourage you to just go out and test it. And it's free, and see if you like it or don't like it, and that's about it. And if you're already using it, maybe you saw something you didn't know, and see maybe how I'm using it. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. Here's another thing you can do for research. Let's use here another note just as a practice. I have here a PDF. I'm reading a book and I want to research this book more. Here's what I can do. I can actually copy paste parts of the book. So maybe I want to copy this part. Go to my Evernote. Let's call this color, an introduction to practice. And now I want to search, and in the book I want to just read it, find something of interest. I think there was something of interest on 59 page. Here it is. So here's what I can do. What I want to do is I want to copy up some text here. Just for example, I'm going to copy this part of the text of the book I'm reading, and I'm going to paste as text here, and I'm going to have to reformat it a little bit just to kind of correct for the fact that it didn't format it right from the PDF. And once I have that, let's say I also want to include this image. And this is an image, so I can't really just copy it easily, but there is this tool here called Take Snapshot, and I can just drag a rectangle over this image. It will copy it, and then in Evernote I can click here paste, and this is how I would paste it here. Now let's say I also want to include a link to this, so let me select the name. I'll go to my browser and I'll search for it. There it is. So it's on Amazon. I'm going to select this website and I'm going to add it here under info URL. So now I have a link to this particular book that I'm reading, and I have parts from the book that I like. Now let's say you're reading a book that you're researching and you don't want to read and you don't want to remember everything in a book, but you just want bits and pieces of it. Well, you can kind of create and composite your own book from just pieces that you like or from different books. And maybe I can add a tag, color management. I already have them prepared, ebooks, and that will be it. Oh yeah, and there's a part that maybe I like, or brightness or lights. Fine, I wanna remember this when I'm browsing a bunch of text, so I'll just highlight that part, and there we go. So if you research something, if you go online, offline, whatever it is, you can put everything inside. And like I said, I remember when I talked about receipts, you can also use your phone to put receipts, which are just a piece of paper or notes that you've taken on a napkin or somewhere, and you can mix them up with digital. And some of them are actually, if you take a picture with Evernote application and there is a decent font that you were writing with, you can actually let Evernote make it searchable. It detects words and let you search the text. So that's really cool as well. And this is how I would basically prepare my files, my clients, and anything else that I want. Like I said, I have almost 2,000 different notebooks, so it's really easy to use. It's super powerful, very flexible, very versatile, and it's free. So why not try it out?